Number one, you have to be good. Number two, you have to be known. And number three, you have to have... You don't see the bad days. Well, this is the truth. This is what has happened. Being a stunt performer is what has allowed me to be a stormtrooper in Star Wars. The worst part about it is... How do I go about writing my video? What is the most challenging thing? Am I single? Oh boy, let's dive into Omar's insane brain. I will never forget this. One day he looked over at me and he just said, Omar, you should not be here. I, as a performer, and I think all performers feel this exact same way, where does Omar find discipline when he doesn't have motivation? He doesn't. Let's dive right into this. If you don't know me, my name is Omar Zaki, and I'm a goofball. I make YouTube videos. I'm a stuntman. I work in motion capture in video games. I come from parkour. That's what started my whole Hollywood journey, and I've been living in LA for 7 years now, and now I'm here to answer your questions. First question, Derek Harvey, D Harvey Infinity 3. He asked me, this is a good one to start on. Did I audition for Power Rangers and was I close on being cast for a season? I actually did audition for Power Rangers. I don't know if you knew that. I auditioned 2 or 3 years in a row. Now, was I close to being cast? Absolutely not. When I auditioned, I was very, very new. I was a bad actor. I didn't know how to dress. I didn't know how to speak on camera. I wasn't charismatic. I didn't know how to I just wasn't good. I wasn't good. So I did not get cast and I should not have gotten cast, but I would love to audition again. I have learned so much about performing, so much about being charismatic, so much about filmmaking and just the whole process, and I would do way, way, way better in an actual audition for Power Rangers, but I did audition. Next question is, this is from Distortionful. That's an awesome name. We went to GMU together. GMU is the college that I went to in Fairfax, Virginia, George Mason University. We actually went to GMU together. I have a pic of you and I on campus. Can you talk about what it was like making the decision to leave school, drop out, and fully commit to your passion? Were you ever afraid you might not make it? We're going deep early. First off, that's awesome that you still have that pic of us on campus. The decision about what it was like to leave school and fully commit to my passion. Okay. I did not drop out of school without signs of success. I dropped out of school because I saw so many signs of potential that I could not ignore them. I didn't just decide, I'm done with school, I'm leaving, I'm gonna go try this thing and try to make it work. Some people do that. So the way it worked is I was a parkour athlete and I started making YouTube videos, and then some of those videos started going viral, then other people started finding me. I started making videos with other people. Those videos started going viral. I started getting interviewed in newspapers. I was an instructor at a parkour gym and was getting all this great feedback about my teaching ability and me being charismatic, because I've always been a lot, you know? And in the many jobs that I did, I worked in a restaurant, and I will never forget this, but one of the guys that I worked with, he worked with me, and one day he looked over at me and he just said, Omar, you should not be here. He says, he's like, you're too good for this place. You need to be somewhere else. You need to be doing something with your talent and your skill. And I kind of knew that. I kind of felt that deep down. And so I always worked very, very hard to create enough of an opportunity that I could walk away from school feeling comfortable. Then even when I dropped out of school, I didn't just move to Los Angeles. I worked for a year and I saved up money to make sure that when I moved to LA, I wouldn't be broke, because I know that that's what happens to a lot of people. So I worked, and then I took a week-long trip out to Los Angeles just to visit, just to get a feeling of LA. I didn't drop out with no excuse, move to LA with no money and no connections or anything. Some people do that. And they make it work, but that's not what I wanted to do. So I had this progressive way of pursuing my dream, of seeing signs of success and continuing to push that. Now, the second part of the question is, was I ever afraid that I would not make it? Here's the thing. Like, I haven't made it. I mean, I do this as a profession. I have done it as a profession for the past 7 years, but it's never a guarantee. Next year isn't guaranteed. The year after that isn't guaranteed. That's why I have to continue to work so hard, because I know that there are other people who are moving here with more fire, with more skill, with more talent, with more drive and ambition to make it work. And so I have to continue to stay on top of my game. But that is the question of a career, is would you rather work hard for someone else, or would you rather work hard for yourself? And me having worked for other people, working in a restaurant, working as a lifeguard, working even as a parkour instructor in a gym, these were all great jobs. I loved the jobs. I loved where I worked, but I wanted to be working for myself. That's what I wanted. And so, of course I was afraid that I wasn't gonna make it. But to me, the options are, it's life or death. Not reality, but it's like, I will either work for myself or I will work for somebody else, and I don't want that. So I have to work my butt off constantly. I have to be my own boss, I have to be my own employee, I have to be my own manager, I have to be everything, but that's what I would rather do. That was a super long answer to that question. Next question. Marley Huffman on Instagram. What's up, Marley? She's a good friend of mine. She goes, where has been your favorite place to travel for work, pleasure, or for World Chase Tag? That's a great question. So if you, the audience, if you guys don't know, I was born in Dubai. I've traveled there a bunch because I have family that lives in Dubai. Dubai is great. Dubai is a really, really cool city. But I think I actually really loved London and Paris. I went to London last summer for a World Chase Tag competition. We had the World Championships in London, which was so insane to go to London to play tag. And then I didn't even realize this, London and Paris is a 2-hour train ride away. 2 hours, like get on a train, 1, 2, and you're in Paris. And so my friend and I took a train to Paris and we just found these bicycles and we just cycled all over Paris, which was just like the coolest thing ever. Such a beautiful memory of just going to Paris, looking at all the beautiful monuments and the structures that they have there, and then just stopping in to eat pizza and then, you know, some gelato somewhere. So I would say either London or Paris has been like the coolest place for me. Okay, next question. What exercises would you recommend to support free running and parkour movements? So yeah, so this was like a technical fitness thing. Everybody's body is different, but it's gonna be whatever keeps your joints and your muscles strong. So that's gonna be some form of weightlifting in a way that is, again, strengthening your body without damaging it, because parkour and free running is a lot of impact, it's a lot of force, it's a lot of trauma. So you gotta make sure that your joints are strong. So that's push-ups, pull-ups, jump squats. I like calisthenics because I find calisthenics more interesting and exciting to do than weightlifting, but I also do weightlifting because I like to bulk up and build size. And also, like, if you do weightlifting right, you can strengthen your whole body. Next question from Draklor_44. That's an epic YouTube channel name or username. You know what I mean. Mine is 2-tiered. What made you decide to go into stunts, and was there a particular actor or martial artist that influenced you and inspired you? What made me decide to get into stunts? So the thing that made me decide to get into stunts first, number one, was I've always been an athlete. I've been very athletically inclined. I've done track, soccer, swimming, volleyball, rock climbing, and then found parkour when I turned 17 or 16 and learned free running and then gymnastics and then started doing martial arts. So that already is like 10 different physical skills. And stunts utilizes your body. And so I moved to Los Angeles to become a performer, a holistic performer, to do commercials, music videos, TV, and video games and movies. And because I was more athletically inclined, I had way more experience performing as an athlete than I did as an actor or a performer or an entertainer. It was much easier for me to get into stunts. I've always loved movements and learning physical skills and physical performance. So the first job that I booked was a sword fighting Three Musketeers live stunt show. And then I met more stunt people, and that helped me get into more stunt shows, and then that made me get connected to more people, and then more opportunities, and then it just kind of like spiraled out of control from there, and now I get to do it as a career, and it's the coolest thing ever. But I'm always looking for more ways to learn and grow. And the second part of that is, was there an actor or martial artist that influenced me or inspired me? Jackie Chan. I mean, of course. Who else? Another guy is sad because he passed away, but Jason David Frank, the lead Power Ranger. I thought he was so cool, like every guy I think wanted to be that cool, wanted to be that attractive, wanted to have that many cool skills. He could do kicks and tricks and fly through the air. So Jason David Frank was super, super cool. And then Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, or just like all things Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings, all the sword fighting and the archery, so much cool stuff in those films. And then Star Wars as well. That stuff inspired me so much. Next question, from Aaron4210. What is my approach to learning? And this is a multi-tiered question, but I can't answer all of them because they're all great. But I like this one, which is, what is your approach to learning a new skill? I think this is important because learning is huge. It sounds so stupid to say, but at some point in people's lives, they forget or they stop believing that they can learn new things, or they don't want to fail anymore. They don't want to look silly. They don't want to be bad. They don't want to go through that phase. But I think the only question that can be asked is, do I want the skill? If I had the choice of, would I rather have this skill or rather not have this skill? And the answer is, yes, I want this skill, then that's the only question that matters. And then I just understand that when I approach a new skill, I'm going to be bad. And so I try to do it as much as possible. If I imagine it's like a phase, like a track race, 100-meter dash, and I know that the first 30 meters is going to be me crawling through mud, trying to figure this thing out, trying to not suck at it, trying to not look stupid, trying to get decent. I know that the faster I get in the mud and the more often I crawl, the sooner I will break through that barrier onto the other side of decency and then improvement, and then eventually, if you do something long enough, mastery. So I'm like, okay, I will do this as often as possible, and I will suck, I will be bad. I take lots of videos of myself so I can watch myself doing the thing, and I can critique myself, and I can look at other people and see how they're doing it. I will ask for feedback, I will watch tutorials, I will attack this thing as hard as I can and obsess over it until I have learned the skill, or I will learn a bunch of it and then I will go kind of practice something else that frustrates me less, and then I will come back, and then I will go do something else, and then I will come back again, and doing that over and over builds up that skill until I feel really confident with it. So that's how I go about learning a new skill. Next question, Mary's Fuentes. Mary, you're so awesome. Thank you so much. This is, would I ever try Capoeira? I would love to do Capoeira. I had never have, but I would absolutely, yeah, I would love to do Capoeira. Maybe someday I'll do a Capoeira video. That would be really fun. Next question, Mark Gregor 89. Do you miss being the geek? And what happened to that show? I loved it. Yes, I miss being the geek. For those of you who don't know, there was a TV show called Ultimate Tag, this reality TV show where I got to play this hilarious and awesome character, the geek, when I still had my big old afro and I had these glasses on, and I got to be nerdy, and I gotta talk like this. And what were some of the stuff that I would say? Like, well, I calculated the enemy's path of movement by trajectorizing their velocity, and then I knew once I calculated the route, it was game over.
There, it's all about analyzing their patterns of movement.
It was a lot of just me being really, really silly, being really ridiculous like that. But unfortunately, the show only got one season. I would love it if that show came back. I think maybe it will someday. I don't think it's been like officially canned is the word, where they just like ditch something entirely. So I believe it is possible that it comes back someday, but I have no idea. But I would love to do that again, although we'd have to get like a fake afro for me since my hair is short now. Next question, Tybo 9. What is the most challenging thing about getting consistent work in the entertainment industry? Great question. Number one, you have to be good. Number two, you have to be known. And number three, you have to have relationships and connections. Doing all three of those things is difficult. To be good at the thing that you do, to be well known at that thing, and then to have connections and relationships that will help you get work in the entertainment industry. So doing that, it took me a long time to build that up, to get good enough, and then to make myself well known enough by enough people that I then have connections and relationships to help me continuously work in this industry. But again, it's never a done deal. This is an ongoing machine. You have to continue to train, you have to continue to go to events, you have to continue to meet people, you have to continue to audition. Yes, your status and your skills and your network will improve, and as that happens, it becomes easier to work and to work consistently in the industry, but I never take it as a guarantee. So I always continue to do that work, but by focusing so much on my skills, getting as good as I can be, work on showcasing my skills, making it as well known to as many people as possible, and then by having a ton of great connections and relationships, by doing that like obsessively for years, it has now led me to a really, really good place. Warrior Boy 105, what is the best and the worst thing about being a stunt performer? The best and the worst thing? That's a tough one. I would say the best thing by far is getting to use the skills that I have built up throughout my entire life and to now have been able to turn that into a career and to work on these super cool projects. I mean, being a stunt performer is what has allowed me to be a stormtrooper in Star Wars, is what allowed me to get in a Spider-Man costume on set for 2 days. For 2 days. I will always clarify that I was only in the suit for 2 days. But to be a stormtrooper and to do that, and then to work on, I've worked on a ton of really, really cool video games that I can't talk about yet. And that stuff is awesome. So Stunts has given me that. It has given me the opportunity to work with great people, to work with these things that I love, these things that inspired me as a child. I mean, Spider-Man changed my life as a kid. Star Wars changed my life as a kid. So to now be a part of those franchises and to have been on the inside of the circle, that's incredible. That is incredible. I would say that's definitely the best part about it, is the doors that it has opened for me. The worst part about it is, I mean, I'd just say, like, it's painful sometimes. Sometimes it's not fun. If you're doing a scene and you have to go through stuff, you gotta hit the ground hard, or maybe you're working for 15-hour days on set and you're wearing thick, heavy costumes and you can't see and you can't breathe. But all of that is the challenge. They come together. You can't have one without the other. You can't have the light without the darkness. Like, there are some really hard days. I've had some really, really difficult days on set, but those are the proving ground days. Those are the days where you prove it to yourself and to everyone else, to the entire community, that you can do the work on the good days and the bad days. So while if I had the choice to choose, no, I wouldn't choose to be in pain on set, but they are connected. And so you can't have one without the other. Oh, I didn't see that this was a two-part question. If you were given the chance to play as any Marvel or DC superhero, which one would you like to play as? Oh, I'm so torn. Funny enough, though I've made a ton of Spider-Man videos, my favorite superhero growing up is actually the Flash, because I was a track runner, and so I loved running and I loved super speed. I was obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog and the Flash, and so I think I would like to be the Flash. The Flash would be really, really cool. But in terms of like actually utilizing my full set of skills and abilities, Spider-Man would utilize my full set of skills and abilities. That would definitely challenge me more as a physical performer, really having to dial in Spider-Man movement. But the Flash, I just love super speed. I just love super speed. This is a great one. I actually had two of my friends ask me the same question without even knowing it. Adam Meadows, PK, and then I don't know if it's T. Humbert or Thumbert, 77. They both asked me, how do I go about writing my videos? Oh boy, let's dive into Omar's insane brain. Let's take, for example, the Spider-Man video game in real life video that I did, because there's so many different types of videos that I make, from the ones that kind of dive into the creative process and the documenting the making of something like this, which is not scripted at all, But I think let's just go with like the kind of film ones that I write, the Spider-Man video game in real life one. I come up with the concept first. I go, okay, this would be a cool concept. Like a Spider-Man video game video that looks like a Spider-Man video game. Okay, cool, there's the concept. Next is I go, okay, what cool moments do I want to include? Okay, I know that if I'm gonna do a Spider-Man video game in real life action scene, I want Spider-Man fighting a group of people. So it's like, okay, so that would be a cool scene if I have Spider-Man fighting a group of people. Well, if Spider-Man fights a group of people, it'd be cool if he was infiltrating like an area and there's a bunch of people there and Spider-Man is sneaking around and then he gets caught and then he has to fight all these people. So now we have an excuse for the scene that I want, which is this big group fight. And that video was Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen. And so it was like, okay, well, let's have a really big group. Let's have 10 people. And 5 people can fight Spider-Man over here. And then 5 people can fight Spider-Gwen over here. I was like, that would be a really, really cool scene. And then I was like, well, it's got to culminate in something. It's got to have some boss fight. So they're going to this location for some reason and they find this big guy. And I just kind of just play with the ideas of what I would want to see, what I think would be interesting to showcase variety. So we have like the video game perspective of the fight scenes that are happening where the camera is in the air like an actual video game. On the other side of that, it goes into a cinematic fight scene, which is different. And so now it's a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-1 as opposed to a 5-on-1 in a video game fight scene. It takes a long time to do this, so it's hard to explain it all. But generally I come up with the concept and then I come with some like landmark moments that I as a fan would love to see and things that I as a performer and a filmmaker know that I can pull off. And then I create the flow of a video. I go, okay, well, if I want these 4 things to happen, what way can I organize all of them to make one streamlined video that goes from point A to point B to point C to point D? The whole time I'm looking at this logistically and I'm going, okay, what can I actually pull off? Do I have enough friends that will come help out on a video? Do I have the ability to edit this project? Do I have a location that I can shoot this thing in? So it's for me, it's always balancing the creative idea and then also the logistics of, can I actually pull this off? It's not the best way to do it. The one that would lead to the most compelling story would be where you write the story first. But I actually think of cool things that I think would be fun for a YouTube video, things that I would enjoy doing, things that I think would be good demonstrators of the concept and a way to like encapsulate the idea. And then I find ways to connect everything and then write a story and write dialogue. And it takes a long time, but that's generally how I go about writing my videos. Next question, this is an easy one. Am I single? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Soderman, Kyle Soderman. Kyle Soderman is the lovely team captain of our World Chase Tag team and arguably one of the best World Chase Tag players on the planet right now. Kyle Soderman asks me, he's one of my best friends, if you were to ask yourself a question, what would that be? So he did this because I put out a Q&A. I said, oh, if you want to ask me a question, go ahead and ask me. And he goes, if you were to ask yourself a question, what would that question be? The second to last question is from Meredith Bolthouse. Hey Meredith, how's it going? Thank you for the great question. The question is dream role / dream project. So I, as a performer, and I think all performers feel this exact same way, we want to be fully utilized. We want the ability to showcase all of our skills together and tie them together in some way that tells a story, that has impact, that means something, but also in a way that showcases us at our best. That's what every performer, I believe, wants. So for me, because most of my skills are in the physical fitness stunt area, I would love a project. I've thought about it like doing it, and I don't know if I would want to perform in this or if I would want to direct it, but I think it'd be really, really cool to tell like, it's funny, this is an interesting comparison, but the Bring It On cheerleading movie, doing something like that with parkour as like the main thing rather than showcasing cheerleaders and like the dynamic between cheerleading teams, it would be parkour, but not like the Taylor Lautner movie. I'm even forgetting Tracers, yeah, not like that, not like this grungy, like where they're criminals, where you actually get to see parkour athletes interacting, but it would also be cool if there were like superpowers involved, and then you know, if you could do fight scenes as well. I don't know yet. I really don't know. Something that fully utilizes me, my personality, my physical skills, my capabilities, my ideas. I don't exactly know what that would be yet, but something like that. All right, we're ending on a really, really great question. I don't know how I'm going to answer this one yet. This is from Chandler. Thank you, Chandler, for this. Chandler Carlisle. Where does Omar find discipline when he doesn't have motivation? He doesn't. Truly. I am not nearly as disciplined as I need to be, as I will be, as I'm working towards becoming. You all see what I put forward. You all see the best stuff. You don't see the bad days. You don't see the days where I'm in my bed for, I've got 2 lights on my bed, but where I'm in bed for hours, 8 hours, undisciplined, unmotivated and undisciplined. A disciplined person would get up. So I have a lot of shortcomings when it comes to my discipline, but my good days usually follow my best days. It's weird. My best days usually follow my worst days. So if I have a really, really bad day, it's like a slingshot. And this is not how it should be. I don't want it to be like this. This is just, well, this is the truth. This is what has happened so far. And I am working on becoming more disciplined. But it's like this slingshot effect where I'll have a terrible day and I'll feel so guilty and just knowing that that's not what I want, that that's not me working towards my goals and my dreams, which is something that I want to be doing every day. And so the guilt of that shoots me forward into an incredible day or an incredible sequence of days, or if I'm doing a great project and I'm obsessed with it, like again, that Spider-Man video game in real life video, that took 7 weeks of nonstop work, and during those 7 weeks, I was on it. But then when that video came out, I lost a lot of the discipline to write the next idea, to dive headfirst into the struggles of creating something new. So that's where I need to find more discipline. But the things that help me, you say, where does Omar find discipline when he doesn't have motivation? I've actually tried to find ways to hijack motivation because I'm working on developing discipline. And I've saved a bunch of incredibly powerful speeches and moments from people and moments from TV and film and shows that touch me, that speak to me really, really personally. I've saved a bunch of them on my phone. And so I listen to them when I need just a wake-up call, when I need a wake-up call or a reminder. I literally I've taken YouTube comments and I've stapled them all over my room. You can't even see them. I try to do everything that I can. And I understand the way that I am trying to work on it now is I love the phrase, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so to change how you do everything, change how you do anything. Let me say that again. It's a tongue twister. How you do anything, how you do any one single thing is how you will do all things. So if you want to change how you do all things, change how you do one thing. Change how you do anything. So that comes down to how I approach every single thing. How I make my bed, how I crafted setting up this shot, this framing. I wanted it to be nice. You come up on a YouTube video, you just expect it to look nice, but setting this up took me 30 minutes of trial and error, but I am working on changing how I do anything so that it affects how I do everything, even how I do the dishes, how I sit up in my car when I'm driving, how I wake up in the morning. So I'm trying to change every aspect of my life to lead me towards becoming a more disciplined individual, because I understand that how I do anything is how I do everything. So that's not a great answer to your question. I wish I were more disciplined. I wish I could say that I was a god of discipline and I could give you all of these cheat codes that I have cracked and created, but I haven't. I truly haven't. And I obsess over getting to that stage because that's who I want to be. I want to be disciplined. So even though I'm not as disciplined as I want to be, I am relentless. I do not give up in the pursuit of growth, in the pursuit of improvement. And being relentless is what will get me there. Sooner, later, I don't know, but I am relentless and I will get there because I do not give up. And that's just because I'm obsessed and I want this more than anything else. I think that's a great place to end this. Wow. I would love to get more questions from you or any comments. Please leave them down below. I want to know what you thought, or just a comment on something. Please comment down below and I will do my best to respond to every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys later.